Welcome back, everybody, to episode 4 of the Average Fan Podcast. I'm joined today with my lovely co host, Ben.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back.
Yeah, it is great to be back. It was a decent week for all of us.
It was. We had a
Very,
tie. We got a tie. Not very common.
we, yeah, we had there's been a lot of blocked field goals,
Mm-hmm.
which is not common, but yeah.
Yeah. How'd you do this week? How many predictions did you get right? Do you know off the top of your head?
I don't actually know what my prediction was. I haven't been keeping track. I mean, from what I could tell, as I look through this, I know I'm pretty sure I'm positive. I don't think I've had a bad week.
Yeah, I got five wrong. As we're recording this, we still have the two Monday night games. I'll just go ahead and say I split my prediction. So, that's a 9-6 week. Could be better. Could be worse. Yeah.
I mean, hey, 9-6 is pretty good. It's positive still.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, let's go ahead and move on to our recap of the this past week. Obviously, not including the two Monday night games: Miami versus the Jets and Denver versus the Bengals. Those two are still going on. So we're not gonna
Mm-hmm.
be able to go through them, but they look slow. It'll probably be whatever we said it was because we're good at predicting.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's just go ahead and rip off the first game. This is gonna be Seattle versus Arizona. This was a very close one, 23-20. Seattle edged it out, got the victory. A good division win. Seattle's looking good.
Yeah, I mean, the game wasn't as close as the score looks. I watched it. Again, just more Marvin Harrison drops, and Seattle's balling out. But for our first international game of this week, I guess only international game of this week, we had the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is something I was happy to get right. I said the Steelers would win. They did. Uh, it's hard to know if the Vikings are good because JJ McCarthy is out, but Carson Wentz had 350 yards, two touchdowns, but also two picks. Again, it's hard to tell right now if they're good or not, but yeah, we'll see. The Steelers defense looking better this week.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna wake up early for this game. This was a 9:30 game. For where I'm at, but I did wake up at like 10:30 and then I watched what was there. It's pretty interesting. I missed all the big scores outside of like the Vikings like last second resurgence, which mind you, it was literally just it was pretty much like 21 to 6 the whole game, and then the Vikings just got two quick scores and a 2-point conversion, and then it was just onside kick that they lost. It was mid game. I mean, honestly, the Vikings probably could have won. Maybe if they had JJ McCarthy over Carson Wentz. It's just that backup thing.
Mid game by mid teams.
Yeah, they also had a right tackle sprain his MCL. But yeah, the it was a mid game. Steelers got the victory. It could have gone either way. Yeah, this next game, New York versus the Los Angeles Chargers, definitely got this one wrong. This went in New York's favor. Jackson Dart got his first start, first victory.
I saw something about Jackson Dart is the first rookie quarterback to have his first start and beat an undefeated team since the 1950s or something like that. I mean, he did well. I know Malik Neighbors tore his ACL, so that's a very big loss for the New York offense.
Yeah.
But I wish nothing but the best for that team. I didn't watch this game, but I was excited that I wasn't mad about getting this one wrong.
Yeah, it was very funny to see. Um, I am going for the Chargers most of the season, so I mean, that's kind of tough for them, but in general, we all like a good upset.
Yeah. So for our next game, another one that I think we both got right was the Titans at the Texans. This game was very hard to watch for the first half. I mean, it was 6-0, but the Texans locked in for the last quarter, scored 20 points. I saw a clip of CJ Stroud's offensive line just letting a rusher like hit him in like
Oh, I
one
saw that.
second.
Yeah, I saw
So The offensive line is not good on the Texans, but they still, their defense shut them out. So there's some good on this team. They got their first win.
Yeah, this is pretty self-explanatory by the score being a shutout. Kind of interesting. We have two shutouts in back-to-back weeks. I think that's pretty cool, even though one of them was my team. But I actually, so what I saw about this game was an interview with Cam Ward afterwards, where he was just like, "If I'm gonna keep it a buck, we're ass." Like straight up, and and then he goes on to say, "We fucking suck," and that's it's
He didn't.
true.
He
I'm
didn't mince words. He is
no,
correct.
I don't I didn't really see this as something like where he's giving up on a team. Um, it's just the truth. It's kind of like a Cade Cunningham thing with the Detroit Pistons. We'll learn more about basketball later on.
I mean, the coaching is just not good too. I mean, there's just so many issues besides the players. It's the roster. It's the calling, the coaching. I mean, Cam Ward is not a part of the problem right now. So
No, definitely not. And it's just it's just a funny thing to see. Hopefully the Titans can get a win this season. Um, them and the Saints are competing for worst teams in the league right now. So that's very unfortunate.
yeah, but Michael, I saw because I was keeping an eye on it. The Falcons beat the Commanders. Michael Penix, it looks like had a bounce back game. Tell me what happened.
Yeah. He played better in general. Our offensive coordinator came down from the box and actually ended up telling Bijan Robinson like, "Hey man, this is easy. This is a lot easier than before. I should have been down here the whole time." And everyone's like, "You think?" I mean, there's a reason why all the play callers are down on the field. But this was classic. Good game for us. The score looks a bit closer than it really was. I would say the score should really reflect like 31-16, which it was for a good portion of the game. And then they had a late score that we ended up, holding on to. It was a good, enjoyable game. Xavier Watts, our rookie third round pick, got another interception. He's got two on the year. So, our defense is looking good. We got like 2 sacks, I think. So we are not dog shit anymore, pass rush wise or defense wise in general.
Yeah, I'm glad for you. For the next game, I think this is another one that you're pretty happy about. The Saints are 0-4. The only thing I really have to say about this game, it was a little closer than I expected. But I saw the clip of Chris Olave. They were trying to do some trick play, and he threw a nasty pick to the Buffalo defense that I thought was very funny.
I saw on Twitter because he was trending, and then I went and looked on it, and people were talking about how he has negative points because the only stat he has is the interception that he threw. So that's pretty funny. That probably sums up most of the season for the Saints so far. Like you said, it was a little bit closer than I had expected. I was keeping tabs with it because I like to see him lose. But Buffalo ended up pulling away at the end, so all is well. Evil has been rejected.
Yes. So one for this next game. This is one that I incorrectly predicted, but I'm not mad about it. Was the Eagles versus the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers almost had a comeback. Unfortunately, Baker Mayfield kind of had to put the whole team on his shoulders, which, even the best quarterbacks can't do that consistently. But we know the Eagles are a legit team, and the Buccaneers, again, almost orchestrated a very impressive comeback.
Yeah, the issue with the Bucks is that you can't always orchestrate comebacks or
Yeah.
like do game-winning things every week. That's kind of what I was expecting here. I knew the Bucks were going to be in it, um, but I mean their magic has kind of sailed after a 3-game last-minute win streak. So this being at home probably hurt a lot more, but it was just kind of destined to happen. It is what it is. They're both still decent teams, nonetheless. Philly and Buffalo are like the only undefeated teams left, so it's an understandable team to lose to.
It is, for sure. No, no shame.
Moving on, probably another game people thought was pretty boring, but I'm sure you did not. This is Detroit versus Cleveland. Any Cleveland game that I'm like somewhat paying attention to just seems like horribly boring. I did start your defense in another league and it got me 15 points, so thank you. But you go ahead and tell me how you're feeling about this one.
Yeah, so this one, the game does look, it was slightly closer than it looks. It was never really, Cleveland never really looked like they were going to win. Their defense is scary. They held Jared Goff to 170 yards, Jahmyr Gibbs to 90 yards. They did a good job shutting down the offense, but they just couldn't stop throwing, shooting themselves in the foot. 2 interceptions by Joe Flacco, and then Aiden Hutchinson strip sack. I mean, our defense came up huge in this game. Unfortunately, lost one of our starting corners, or our cornerback one, but it doesn't look like he's going to be out for the whole season, but he probably will end up on IR for at least 4 or 5 weeks. But yeah, not much else to say. Not surprised we won. The defense, I said this last week. I think the Browns have the best defense and the worst offense in the entire league. So that still remains to be true. For our next game, this is another one I got wrong, which is the Panthers versus the New England Patriots. I thought because of what the Panthers did with the Falcons last week that they would be able to kind of come in and maybe keep it close to New England, but it really wasn't. Bryce Young, I mean, he didn't I guess he didn't lose the ball, so he didn't turn it over, but I mean, this team still has a long way to go. When you have to put in your backups, the game is over. A lot cleaner by the Patriots this week, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're dropping 42 at home. Who doesn't love doing that? This is I watched the whole game last week against the Panthers, and one of the things that was very clear was a lot of the bad stuff that was happening to us was because we were making really dumb mistakes, and they were so stupid that even the Panthers could capitalize on it. That last game, even though we lost, was nothing short of a fluke. You see that here versus a New England team that is not much better than ours, if they are better. They're definitely on the same level as Carolina, but it's like you said, Bryce Young's not really losing them games. He's not doing crazy stuff to win games. But I am on Panthers Twitter a little bit because they like to talk smack to Falcons fans, thinking that they own us or something, and they're just pissed off at their first round pick. Not gonna try to pronounce his name, Tet McMillan. He's dropping a lot, and they're trying to say he's a bust, and it's just no, you gotta let the guy develop. It's kind of y'all's fault that you thought you were just suddenly gonna be some crazy team. So I love seeing division rivals lose.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
But yeah, this next game, I think both you and I picked the Jaguars here. Yep. This is the Jaguars versus the 49ers. This is an elite poll. I didn't watch this game. Obviously, it was close, but it wasn't as close as we might think. What I do know is that for some reason, Liam Cohen and Robert Saleh got into some kerfuffle.
Yeah, they were yelling at each other.
Yeah, they were yelling at each other, and what's his face? Liam Cohen walks up to Saleh and says, "Keep my name out your effing mouth." And then Robert Saleh goes, "I'll effing kill you." And so that's a whole thing that happened. Hilarious, but my pick of the Jaguars is riding strong, so I really enjoy seeing them win.
Yeah, I mean, I think both of us, this was a poll on both of our parts. Of course, the day I have Travis Etienne on the bench is the game he finally decides to play well. Next one, another one I got incorrect was the Colts versus the Rams. This was a close game. I don't think Daniel Jones is as good as people were thinking he was, but I think he simply just got outplayed by Matthew Stafford.
Oh yeah, that's just a classic Sean McVay. He just gets it. Sorry to interrupt here, but as I was looking, it seems like Tyreek Hill had a serious leg injury.
Let me see if I can pull this up on Twitter.
He waited a long time for this.
Oh, yep, first thing.
Ooh! Oh my god!
Oh, is he cooked?
Yeah, literally right angled his leg. Wow. I'll send it.
Oh. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, safe to say he's probably cooked. He actually had 12 points. I was checking his fantasy score, because he was about to take a big role for my team. But it looks like I'm gonna be putting him on my reserve list.
Jets just got a touchdown. Michael, I don't know if he's staying on your reserve list. You might want to just drop him because I don't know if he's gonna be coming back for something like that.
You never know. I'll just I rep the team. I can't you can, when you cut them, they don't get the insurance the same. So I gotta make sure my guy stays on the roster, paid, so he can deal with his injury. That's how I take care of my fantasy teams.
That's true. You're a good manager. You're a good man. Better than me.
To reemphasize what I was saying about the Rams game, they had a last minute touchdown to Tutu Atwell, 88 yards. I saw that clip. That was really cool. It's just like you said, Matthew Stafford's just on top of it. So, what's this next one?
Oh, Baltimore versus the Chiefs. This looks like it was an ugly, ugly game. From what
This one, I watched like half of this game, Kansas City versus Baltimore, and it was mostly all Kansas City, pretty much the whole game. And then I think the Chiefs or the Ravens had like a tiny little resurgence, yeah, which didn't really amount to much. The one play that I think is so funny is Lamar Jackson fumbles the ball by running into his own offensive lineman, and it just like pops out, just like cartoonishly fumbles it, and it's really funny. So that was kind of the epitome of that game. But like I said, Chiefs we're not going to stay undefeated for long, especially being at home, or not undefeated, but like
bad, looking bad.
Yeah, you know what I mean. And they edged this one out. Stopped a little late comeback. Here they are. So
yeah. So for the next game, we have the Bears at the Raiders. I was kind of mad. Of course, Aston Gentee goes off this game, 140 yards, a touchdown.
You have him as well?
3 touchdowns, I guess, receiving. No, I didn't have him, but I was just mad because I wanted the Bears to lose. They blocked a field goal. So
yeah.
I did call this one correctly, but Caleb Williams had 2 fumbles and an interception. Geno Smith had 3 interceptions. Like,
this was probably a pretty bad game for everybody unless you had Ashton Gentee.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much else to say about this.
Yeah, neither do I. The Raiders are scoring a lot of points, kind of like the Saints are, but they're all horrible losing records. So we'll see how it pans out. I hope the Saints go 0-4 and the Raiders start winning some stuff. Because if I remember right, I had the Raiders pretty high in their division when we were ranking them. Nope, yeah. I had them at 3.
I still have them at the bottom of mine, but I like the Raiders.
Yeah, I do like them as well. But, it is what it is. I mean, they're just not... There was just no chance they were going to be good, so...
But what is this next game of the week? The Sunday night game.
The Sunday night game that I'm sure you were enjoying up until... Well, actually, no. You probably enjoyed this a lot. This is a scoregami. This is a Sunday night scoregami 40-40 tie between the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys.
Never before happened.
Never. This is the first time anybody's ever seen this. I think ties are hilarious. People think they should get rid of ties. I think they should shut up because ties are so funny. This is something like, it's not a loss. So like, there's that. But I mean, you don't win, but like, man, having 3 different numbers in your record is hilarious. Both of the offenses balled out. Both of the defenses.
Yeah, where's the Green Bay elite defense?
In my opinion, even though they didn't lose, I'm still putting Green Bay under fraud watch. Because you should have a defense that should be able to stop them. You should never tie 40-40 when you have the players on your defense like Green Bay does, especially versus a defense like Dallas.
And especially versus like CeeDee Lamb is out. They don't have a good run game.
Yeah. And dude, imagine if Dallas, like if Jerry Jones just paid Micah Parsons, this was probably a game they would have won handedly. Like it took Micah Parsons to even it out 40-40.
And Jordan Love had his classic, like, he lost the ball again. He's had, like, I think a turnover in almost every game.
Yeah. I don't understand the Jordan Love hype. I understand. I mean, he makes good plays. He probably has a good like yards per average, but nevertheless, he just can't. He doesn't win big close games.
No,
It's
he
just not what it's
doesn't.
just not what happens. It's either if it's a big game, it's either a blowout or it is a blowout. It's just not always the other team. So it is what it is. We'll see how they go, but I'm not high on Green Bay anymore.
Yeah, that's our recap for this week. And Michael, you want to take us into the class time, do some learning?
Okay. Yeah. Moving on to our scheming of the week. Today we're just gonna do something simple. Me and Ben are just gonna rip off an offensive formation each. Just a nice little introduction. I can go ahead and go first. No big deal.
Yeah, that's good with me.
All right. So the formation that I have chosen is I love calling this playing Madden or these formations in Madden because I am a run cheese Madden player. I love running. This formation is called the Power I formation. It is a classic run heavy formation. You're gonna have your standard line, the center guards and tackles. You're gonna have a quarterback under center. Then you're gonna have a fullback directly behind him. I don't think we've talked a ton about fullbacks so far on this podcast. They're basically just like a tight end who blocks from behind the line instead of on the line. And sometimes they'll catch a pass or rush like 2 yards. A popular one is Kyle Juszczyk, if anybody needs that. But yeah, the next position, instead of a wide receiver, this formation has no wide receivers. They actually have another back behind the line next to the fullback on either side. And this can be another fullback, a tight end, or another halfback. Um, Whichever one, you're going to put this guy on whatever side you're going to run towards. And then obviously at the very back, you have the halfback himself. And then it's going to make that straight line of the QB, fullback, and halfback. That's why they call it the I. You're going to have an extra blocker, like I said, and this is just going to brute strength your way through the field. This formation is good for short yardage or goal line plays. So you're not really looking to rip off like a 20-yard rush. You're probably getting 4. It's good for play action, yeah, every once in a while, and you can run on either side of the formation, and it'll probably work out, getting what you want. So it's good for that ground and pound, wearing down the offense type of, or wearing down the defense type of stuff. From what I saw, it has a high success rate for short yardage, which is why they use it on goal lines. But it's super easy to predict, especially when you're running it a lot or every time you get in the red zone. And it's very difficult to pass out of, especially if you're not doing play action. Like I said before, there's no wide receivers, so it's really just raw. And there's a blocking assignment that you're usually doing, which is kind of like you're crisscrossing, tackling the guard, kind of open up space, and you're going to send that fullback and the other whatever position that you choose down there, and they're going to try to get second level, and you're going to have your tight end up there as well, and they're going to do second level, whole nine. And it's really just to make sure that this running back can get his 5 yards. It's not meant to last long, since it's one predictable, two it's just brute strength. So, I mean, it's just what it is. Like I said, it's good for those goal lines and those short yardage plays.
Yes, and thank you for that, Michael. For mine, I'm kind of doing a throwback concept, which I don't know if a lot of the younger viewers know about this one, but it's the wishbone formation. Which this is, if we're talking about the ground and pound kind of offense, this is from straight out of the 1970s, 1980s. And the way this works is there's the quarterback under center. They have 2 running backs behind them and a fullback in front of them. And this basically is a triple option run play. So he could hand it off to either running back, he could hand it off to the fullback, and it allows, blockers to kind of come in. And you need a good offensive line, and this Emphasizes power running, and it's a deceptive option play. It's hard to kind of pass on this because you only have two wide receivers out, but um, it's still. I think it would be fun to see this on the field, but not common to see anymore. But just the idea of having a triple option running play, I thought was interesting, and I wanted to share that with you guys.
Whenever you're kind of looking through like the history of stuff, formations like that are very cool to look at.
Yeah.
You actually surprisingly see a lot of them in like youth football. There was a couple of formations I was looking at before I picked the power I, and that was like the message of a lot of them was that like they're used in younger football because it's easy to like set like teach these things. And the other ones like the brute force, like how often are you brute forcing a bunch of like 8-year-olds, that type of stuff. So kind of interesting to see what's applicable in the pro leagues and what's not anymore.
Yeah. No, that's true.
But yeah, now we can segue off like Paul Blart the Mall Cop into our predictions
Yeah.
for next week. Yeah, so let's go ahead and begin with the AFC. First game on the list, it's going to be the Baltimore Ravens and the Houston Texans. At Baltimore, the Houston Texans could only muster up 26 points on a shutout against the Titans in Houston. Using the same logic as I did last week with the Falcons and the Panthers, this one's obviously going to go Baltimore. Baltimore is not going to want to go like 1-5.
Yeah, I do think Baltimore wins this. Yeah.
This one's probably pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean Baltimore has beaten the Texans 2 years in a row in the playoffs. I don't see them slipping to 1-4. For the next game, we have the Raiders versus the Colts. I think the Colts will win this one.
Yeah.
Unless Ashton Genty has another 3-touchdown game, I really think that. I mean, the Colts almost beat the Rams. There was a deep pass that was dropped, and that would have probably sealed it for them. So I do think the Colts win this one. It could be a good game, but I do expect the Colts to win.
Yeah. It takes Sean McVay and his coaching experience to be the deciding factor in beating the Colts last week. The Raiders they struggled to beat the Bears last week, and they got dogged on by the Commanders the week before. So this one's probably pretty easy, Indy. This next game here, I imagine we're probably also going to share our opinion. I have the Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots. This is a division game in Buffalo. That's a pretty tough place to play. The Patriots, I think, are going to get a little bit ahead of themselves because they dropped 42 on the Carolina Panthers. But, if they can stay humble, they can probably stay in this game. Otherwise, this is all Buffalo.
Yep. I completely agree with you, Michael. I think this could be a sneaky game. Patriots could lock in and win, but I do think the Bills will go to 5-0. Or I guess, yeah, 5-0. For the next game, Chiefs versus Jaguars. I do think the Chiefs will win, especially with how they got rolling last week. I think the Jags, especially being at home, it's possible that they're able to put up a good performance, but if it comes down to who's the better quarterback, Patrick Mahomes is still by far much better than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, I wholeheartily agree with you. I mean, we all know that I'm high on the Jaguars this season, but the way that the Chiefs looked last week, I don't think the Jaguars are going to really be able to handle this. They're going to get a real testament of where they're at. If they can win this game, that is very good for their playoff hopes and their just general season outlook. This is a big test that's going to kind of lead them down one path or another. I think the Chiefs are going to take this one away.
Yeah, I agree.
This next game is our London game, This is another game I'm definitely not going to wake up for. 9:30 a.m. Not happening. This is the Cleveland Browns versus the Minnesota Vikings. This is, for all intents and purposes, a shitter game. I would hate to be a fan of either one of these teams or somebody who just likes waking up to watch London football games. But I'm going to go Minnesota here. I just like Minnesota. The Cleveland Browns are one of the stinkier teams still. So yeah, I think it's honestly going to be a clear Minnesota win.
I actually disagree with you, Michael. Here, I think that the Browns, especially, I just feel like their defense is gonna have at least a touchdown, if not two. The Vikings are really gonna struggle to move the ball on them. If it's JJ McCarthy again, I think he's gonna get destroyed by Myles Garrett. If it's Carson Wentz, I think there's gonna be a number of picks. So, especially with it being a London game, I just think that the Browns will win. I gotta go out on a limb on this one and pick the Browns. For the next game, we have the Cowboys versus the Jets. I don't think this one's that hard. I think the Cowboys are still clearly a better team than the Jets. The Cowboys might not be good, but the Jets are like they're real stinky, like you were saying. So I think that the Jets will ultimately probably lose, and they're probably going to lose today. So 0-5 start.
They are not good, but I would not be surprised if Dallas loses this game because they just like to flip flop wins and losses. I am gonna go Dallas though, because same reasons you said. This Dallas offense has put up 40 points twice against good, well, one good team, one bad team. I can easily see this one being a high scoring game just because the Jets seem to be playing the competition, but if like the team's generally better, they just end up losing, which has been every week. So I could see this going either way. Surprisingly, if the Jets win, don't be surprised. But I think the no-brainer pick is Cowboys. Moving on to this next game, this should be a good one, probably a low-scoring one. There's gonna be the Eagles versus the Denver Broncos. I'm gonna go Eagles here, just because there's some offensive drama going on with AJ Brown posting cryptic messages on his Instagram about organization trying to like limit him or something like that. Some conspiracy theory stuff. To be honest with you, this is probably going to be a game where they're going to be like, let's just shut this down, make him happy a little. So I think the Eagles offense is going to do well, especially because they've been underperforming. Saquon Barkley specifically, not fantasy wise, but in general, he's not rushing a lot. He's just like a pass catching back right now. So this being a really good defense, I can see them trying to work that out.
Yeah, I agree with that take. I think the Eagles will stay undefeated. Broncos really need to win tonight because they have a pretty hellish schedule. Especially if they want to make the playoffs again this year, they need to start winning some of these games. So it's possible the Broncos defense can lock in, but I'm still going with the Eagles. As for the next game with Miami versus the Panthers, I don't know why I am tempted to keep picking the Panthers for these games, but I do think the Panthers win this one. I just think Miami's defense is really bad, especially with Tyreek, not a doctor, but obviously out for an extended period of time.
Yeah, just a little.
I think the Panthers, in a narrow game, will be able to upset the Dolphins and win this one.
I actually agree with you here. I really do like Carolina in this game. You're in Carolina, that they've been playing well in. They just lost probably the biggest threat outside of Devon Achane, and Jalen Waddle is not bad, but you have J.C. Horn on him, so it's not going to do well. The line's not good for Miami, and the Panthers do have a couple of good young edges that'll probably give them a little hell. So I can easily see Carolina taking this one. This next game, probably another shitter game. It's going to be Arizona Cardinals versus the Tennessee Titans. I'm going to go Arizona here, coming off of a longer week than the Titans. And the Titans coming off of this 0-26 loss. I can easily see Arizona taking this win at home.
I mean, again, another real shitter of a game.
Yeah, it won't be spectacular.
Kind of reminds me a little bit of Jets versus Cowboys, where I don't think the Cardinals are like very good, but they're still so much better than the Titans are right now.
Not even close to being near the Titans.
Yeah, so I think that the Cardinals put this one away pretty easily. For the next game, Commanders versus Chargers. I do trust the Chargers will have a bounce back game on this one, especially if Jaden Daniels is still out. I know that Joe Alt, their two tackles, or a guard and a tackle, are out for the Chargers, but I just don't trust Washington's defense enough to give them much leverage. But I do think that, to me, pretty clearly, I think the Chargers are the better team here.
Yeah, I think the game, it really depends on if Jaden Daniels is going to be there. I think Terry McLaurin will probably be there since he was like a game time decision last week, so he'll probably be back. I think this win-loss definitely depends on if it's Jaden Daniels or Marcus Mariota who sees this Chargers team.
Yeah, for sure. That is the difference maker.
I think the only difference that it's really truly going to make is it's going to be whether or not the game is close or the game is a blowout. If Jaden Daniels plays, I'd probably still go Chargers just because they just lost to the New York Giants, and you're going to bounce back from that. If Marcus Mariota plays, it's going to be a blowout. I think they know how to take advantage of quarterbacks like him. So I'm going to go Chargers for this one. This next game is going to be pretty much a repeat of last game for the Detroit Lions. They're facing the Cincinnati Bengals. This is just going to be the Detroit Lions dogging on the other Ohio team. Even though they're away, doesn't really matter. I'm going Lions. Simple.
Yeah, I don't think this one's going to be close. We already knew the Bengals' defense wasn't good. And before the season, I was a little worried about this game just because Joe Burrow's good, Jamar Chase is good, T. Higgins, but Joe Burrow's going to be out for this game. Jake Browning, while serviceable backup, he loves throwing picks. We have last season's interception leader on our team. And even though our secondary is a little bit banged up, I still don't think that's going to be enough for the Bengals to just put up a serious fight. And I could be wrong and it could be closer, but I just think Detroit is the far and away better team. For the next game, we have the 49ers versus the Rams, and I'm going to be picking the Rams for this one. I think that with how injured the 49ers are, they just lost to the Jags. I think that the Rams are going to just keep winning, firmly put themselves on top of this division. Matthew Stafford can still sling it. I don't think there's much else to add. I just think that LA will be able to put this one away at SoFi.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think the Rams are really settling into a good season, especially offensively, and the 49ers have not been impressive defensively. So I have the Rams here as well. This next game that we have is New Orleans versus the Giants in New Orleans. Doesn't matter to me. After the Giants just beat the Chargers with Jackson Dart, so they're probably going to try to get Jackson Dart settled in following this next game. Even though you have Malik Neighbors out, you have nobody to guard Malik Neighbors on New Orleans. So this just looks like a good matchup for the Giants to give some good experience. It might be an ugly game, just because that's just how these type of games go. But I'm gonna go Giants for this one.
Yeah, I completely agree with you, Michael. I think that again with how promising Jackson Dart did, just taking down an undefeated team, I think this could be closer than we think. This could even be a 1 or 2 point game, but I trust the Giants defense and some of their weapons more than the mess that the Saints have right now. And then for the last game of the week, we have the Seahawks versus the Bucks. I just feel like mathematically every team in the NFC South kind of has to stay somewhat close to 500, especially after getting kind of beat up by the Eagles. I think that the Seahawks are going to come in off of their mini bye and beat the Bucks at home.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think for that, not for that specific reason, but the mini bye and being at home, the Seahawks are coming off of some good hype for the season, so I'm gonna take them as well. I think Bucky Irving is already questionable for next week, so he's tweaked something. But yeah, I have the Seahawks here as well. Just to note, for some reason the NFL has decided to do Week 5 buys. That includes for this week the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, and the Atlanta Falcons.
What are you going to do this week?
I don't know. Try out the left hand, if you know what I mean. It's just I don't like it. I honestly, we do have a couple of injuries like Caleb McGarry, Storm Norton, and AJ Terrell that we kind of like. It's gonna help, but I don't think it's ever a benefit to any team really to have a week 5 bye.
No, the Lions had it last year, and that's I feel like part of the reason they were so injured is they just weren't able to get a break by. I mean, even like a week 5 bye is still so much better than a week, or so much worse than even like a week 8 or 9 bye. Like it doesn't need to be exactly halfway. It can still be earlier, but week 5 is just it's like disgusting.
Yeah, and the funniest thing is that um, the week after we're playing on Monday, so we actually have like a super bye.
A super bye.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we have a whole week plus a day.
Falcons on the super bye.
I don't like that. I can feel, knock on wood, we're not a team that has a lot of major injuries often. This a thing like this can easily change it. It'd be good, if we're a real like tough, gritty team that can just ride momentum and stuff like that. But if anybody ever keeps a close eye on the Falcons, you learn that they're the most dumbest people ever. They just find ways to embarrass themselves.
Most dumbest. Well said.
Yes, as you can tell, Falcons fan over here.
In your Falcons cave.
Yeah, I'm sure the Steelers, Bears, Packers, those three teams are probably also gonna feel the same about this bye. I don't know their injury histories, but everybody would like it at least like we.
So for our fantasy section, Michael, how did you do this week?
I thank God I won in both of the leagues I'm in pretty handedly. I actually beat my opponent 135 to 99. God, I love that. I had a lot of big performances, especially from Drake London and Quentin Johnston. That man's been putting up some nice points for me. I'm gonna have to navigate some buys for Josh Jacobs, Drake London, and the Steelers defense, but I should be fine. I'm not too worried. But this other league that I'm in, I also did well in. I'm against somebody who's not checking his team. AJ Brown's putting up stinkers, which I'm sure you'll talk about, so I'll save that for you. But yeah, in this league I have Tyreek Hill, so I guess not anymore. So I'm gonna have to drop him. I am trading Bucky Irving for Mike Evans straight up, which is arguably probably at a loss, but I just really like how Mike Evans settles into late in the season. He has a little injury.
Yeah, he's very consistent. That's not a. I don't think that's a terrible trade. I personally I would do that, but
Especially because I have Bijan Robinson, Javonte Williams, and J.K. Dobbins. Dobbins is not having the best game right now, but Javonte Williams is. So I do have a fix. I can also pick up a couple of running backs that are on the waiver wire right now, like Trey Benson or Quinton Judkins. Sorry. So I have a fix there. I just need another consistent wide receiver because if I get another 3 points from AJ Brown, I'm gonna kill myself. Yeah. How did your week go?
yeah, I haven't won yet because I got some people in the game right now, but according to the ESPN fantasy app, I have a 3% chance of winning. I just need literally two more points. I just need Cameron Sutton to like get a reception basically in 10 yards. So I'm not too worried about that. But I'm very lucky that I came out on top this week because Brock Purdy got hurt. He only put up 18 points. Bijan really went off for me. He had almost 30. He's kind of carrying me because for the next two I had David Montgomery with 1 point,
Oh.
AJ Brown with 3.
Oh.
So that was bad. Zay Flowers did okay. So did Trey McBride, and then Brandon McManus had 12 points, and of course Matthew Stafford's on my bench with 30 points, and Khalil Shakir and Jordan Addison who all did better. So this week I'm gonna have to make some adjustments, hopefully, and win.
I'd like to push an agenda here. Give me a Bijan Robinson offensive player of the year, man. I had Christian McCaffrey, but like the way he's playing, if he could just keep this consistently somewhat, oh my God, he's gonna have like an insane set of yards, both run and pass by the end of the year. So he's playing phenomenally. Our offense is quite literally being carried by him. He's our leading receiver and rusher.
Yeah, I was very impressed by the performance he put up this week, but he's got to be careful because he could get hurt. doing all those snaps. So you got other weapons. So I hope you.
I hope we use them too. Yeah. But yeah, so that's pretty much it for this episode. It's a bit shorter than it is normally. So
Yeah, trying to make it more palatable for all you guys. So.
Yeah, we definitely want people to be able to digest a decent episode that's not an hour and 20 minutes long. We'll still get some clips. I hope that you guys enjoy watching the clips, so you don't have to watch full episodes if you don't want to. But yeah, I had a great time with you tonight, Ben.
Yeah, I did too. It's always nice talking to you, Michael. And for all of those watching with us still, please consider liking and subscribing if you haven't already. Let us know if you agree with our takes in the comments down below.
Yeah, also throw in what team you're a fan of, and if you guys are a fantasy player, let us know if your fantasy team's doing well. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll hopefully see you next week. Bye bye.